Cody Williams, one of the more intriguing prospects in the 2024 class, brother of Jalen Williams of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I would say a guy who has seen his draft stock kind of fluctuate as we've gotten closer to the NBA draft. And just let's go over the timeline of Cody Williams before we break down his prospect status, because I think it's kind of interesting to see. He was a little bit of a late bloomer of the class of 2023 and really rose up the recruiting rankings and ended up being one of Colorado's highest ranked recruits ever. And joined the class as a top 10 recruit and started off the year extremely hot. Like, he was making over 50% of his shots, over 50% of his threes in his first 7-8 games before he got hurt. And quickly, because of the lack of talent at the top of this year's draft, moved up to being potentially the number one pick in the draft. Then he got hurt, comes back, and his efficiency isn't quite the same. He doesn't increase the number of attempts he's taking per game. And so some questions start to emerge about Cody Williams' draft prospect. Now, what does he do well? He's a really athletic, he's an athletic, lengthy wing who can defend pretty well. He can pass a little bit, brought the ball up at 6'8", 190 pounds at times for Colorado, and also is a pretty solid three-point shooter, making over 40% of his attempts as a freshman. Now, that was only on a little bit less than 2 attempts per game, so not necessarily high volume. Additionally, he's really good at moving off the ball. I think that's one of his strengths as a player, in just terms of his ability to read the game and have a good feel for the game. And that's part of the reason why I think he doesn't shoot a ton, because he's looking for the right moments. And some of that is good. Some of that you would like him to be a little bit more aggressive. So what would be some areas that Cody Williams could improve upon? Well, for one, we've kind of mentioned it in his strengths. Even the things he's good at, he's a pretty efficient scorer. He didn't shoot very often, and he also just wasn't very aggressive. And for a guy who was as efficient as he was, I would have liked to see a little bit more aggression, looking for his shot at times, because there were a few times in games where I felt like he turned down shots. And for a guy who shot over 40% from three and 50% from the field, you'd like to see a little bit more. Now, on the flip side, maybe part of the reason for his shot selection being as specific as it was he only shot 70%, 71% from the free throw line. So there's a little bit of a question as to how much weight we can put into the 40% three-point shooting. He also just needs to get stronger. And I think, quite honestly, if he gets stronger, it will help him drive to the basket better. And it will help him defend better, because he has the length. He averaged 0.6 steals, 0.7 blocks, solid numbers. And if he adds the strength, I think that will be his calling card, his defense. So I do think that over time, he could develop into a solid 3-and-D guy with potential as a secondary playmaker. So where do I see Cody Williams getting drafted? Who would be, a good fit for Cody Williams? So, personally, would I draft Cody Williams? Yes, because I see the floor as a 3-and-D role player, and I see a potential ceiling with potential shot creation down the line, making plays for others. And so, therefore, I do think I would draft him. Now, having said that, he has fallen down a little bit as to where I would pick him. He moved down slightly on my big board. As I said earlier, I was, quite frankly, one of those people who was considering him as my number one player on my big board. Now he's slid down. He's around 5 or 6 on my big board. So I would take him anywhere between 5 and 12 in this year's draft. I think that's a fair range for a guy like Williams, who I think will have a high floor. And the ceiling is kind of up. It's to be determined. I think there's certainly potential, but even some of the things I like his passing ability. He had a negative turnover ratio, the shooting, not a ton of attempts. So there's certainly questions to be had about Cody Williams, and for that reason, my confidence score on Cody Williams as a prospect is about 60-65%. So I'm not super confident, but I'm not confident at the same time. So let me know what you guys think about Cody Williams. I think he's a very intriguing prospect from Colorado and a guy who I expect to hear his name called during the NBA draft lottery. So if you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.